A motions hearing today involving Doge ended without a ruling from a U.S. district judge who instead extended a temporary restraining order another 7 days to consider whether a protective injunction, which prevents a party from taking a certain type of action, should be placed on Doge officials as a way to prevent them from accessing your personal information. The lawsuits come as unions for current and former federal employees allege that the government unlawfully disclosed the personal data of millions of Americans to Doge. That closely watched hearing comes as cuts to the federal government are now endangering a top-secret national nuclear security agency home to key nuclear scientists, bomb engineers, and experts tasked with safeguarding the transport of nuclear materials. They're now facing staffing issues. How fun. Totally not frightening at all. This new reality comes as national polling among registered voters finds that, surprise, surprise, even those that want to cut back on government and its size and its spending don't like the way it's being done or the people who are doing it. Joining me now is Peter Baker, New York Times White House correspondent and MSNBC political analyst, and Ed Luce, U.S. chief columnist for the Financial Times. So, Peter, you and I have had a little bit of fun having this conversation from time to time over the last few weeks. And here we are, where we're seeing in new NBC polling a couple of things that I think are pretty striking. The first is Elon Musk's favorability. You're finding, versus Doge itself, 46% like the idea of Doge. Okay, yeah, let's cut. But then when it comes to Elon Musk, 51% not too much a fan. How do you read what the public is saying right now?
Yeah, it's fascinating that Musk, of course, has taken on a little bit of radioactivity, but that Trump, who's responsible for all these decisions, hasn't, right? Trump's numbers in that same poll are as high as they've ever been. Not high. They're at 47% approval rating, but for him, that's actually relatively high. So the public is blaming Musk and giving Trump, to some extent, a pass. This reminds me, actually, of my time in Russia. This is an old saying in Russia. The saying was called the Dobry Tsar, the kindly Tsar. If only the Tsar knew what his boyars were doing in his name, he would stop it, of course. And it's an old-fashioned thing here, too, in the United States, too, right? We obviously blame the people around the president as if a president didn't have anything to do with it. Well, he's made very clear he has authorized Musk to do what he's doing. Everything that Musk is doing is with Trump's license. But Musk has done it in a way, obviously, that's turned off a lot of the public. Yes, cutting government is not a universal goal, but a popular goal. There's a consensus there among a lot of people that maybe the government needs some fresh eyes, some scrutiny. But the way he's gone about it with that chainsaw literally represents, something other than a mature, thoughtful, and analytical approach to what works and what doesn't, especially when you're firing people at nuclear agencies, trying to hire them back, firing people at the Ebola section, hiring them back. These kinds of things don't suggest a thought-through process.
It's interesting that what Peter lays up really is reflected in other aspects of the NBC poll, which notes that 33% say Doge efforts should continue. Another 33% say they're reckless and should stop. And then a 28%, well, just slow the whole thing down. And to Peter's point, that is the point, that Trump is the ultimate beneficiary here around the very thing he wants done. But the country is divided on how it's playing out, how it's being implemented to some degree. But the guy who's doing it is more the bad guy than the guy who told him to do it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think Peter's put his finger on it. If only the Tsar knew. I think, there is a far stronger cultish attachment to Trump and trust in Trump than there was for Elon Musk. Even though if you look at Elon Musk's popularity, approval ratings, just as an engineer, as an entrepreneur over the last few years, he's been sky high. The kind of person until very recently that most Americans admired. So that 39% positive number is low, and I think it's going to drop. But look, we all interface with government. from local government, from DMVs up to federal government for tax rebates and stuff. Everybody has reasons to, at least at face value, support an idea of reforming and streamlining and making government more efficient and responsive, and upgrading its digital systems. But I think as the news sort of seeps out of the Beltway, where we're all consuming this 24 hours a day, to the average American about how Musk is going about this task, the chainsaw approach as opposed to what Trump himself said should be a scalpel approach the other day. As people see the Nuclear Safety Administration losing some of its top people. These are the people who are sort of safeguarding the plutonium and the transport of nuclear materials from one place to another. The best people are the ones who go out first, the star performers. And as they see, measles spread and people who've been working on vaccines and mRNA, a banned word now, I think that Musk 39% positive number is going to start to look really high.